these are some very serious issues which are structural issues that need to be addressed. So I think the state governments must realize that the responsibility of education is squarely on their shoulders. And if this nation is not going to take advantage or get the advantage of the dividend of young people in this country, then I'm afraid we're not going to be able to provide. For example, now we are saying we are going to this year unveil the National Vocational Education Qualification Framework, NVEQF. We're trying to bring vocational education within the school system. Now, there again, unless the states come on board, and remember, vocation ultimately is to be decided by the state governments depending on the localities where the vocation is to be provided. Again, this can't be provided by the central government. So we are telling them, reach out, find out where the vocations are, find out where the industry is, look at the school system around the industry, like the community colleges in the United States, and get those children whose parents are working in those industries, get them involved in the vocation of their parents, so they can actually, and the syllabi in those schools should be changed for the purposes of getting those children into that vocation. But this is not an exercise that we completed in 1 year or 2 years. So I think 7, 8 years down the road, you will see a change of quality. But I think much of that depends on the level of commitment that we will see from the state governments and from the localities in which these schools are situated. And much will also depend on the school management committees. Because under the RTE now, the school management committees consist of 75% of people from the locality, and 50% of them have to be women, which means mothers whose children are going to that school are part of the school management committee. They are part of the school development plan. So I think that if they get fully involved in the school system, you will see that levels of outcome will improve. But again, I think that in the ultimate analysis, it's the quality of the teaching community that is recruited by the state government which determines, of course, apart from infrastructure and other issues, the quality of the school. And what happens in most situations is, and I have seen that as a lawyer, that the moment there is any plan for recruitment, there is a stay order of the court. Right? Because they say, how can you recruit somebody from from a place outside the locality? If you have a local recruitment process, remember, the teacher, if he belongs to the community, will be far more committed than a teacher who doesn't belong to the community. If he is living 200 kilometers away, there will be absenteeism. Now, if you start recruiting people from within the community, then the argument is it's a violation of Article 14 of the Constitution. Because you are not allowing somebody else who lives 800 kilometers away to compete. But he is not going to be committed to that school. So your entire recruitment system of teachers, as far as states are concerned and localities are concerned, has to change. Because you have to get that committed teacher to commit himself to the school, and that will only happen if he belongs to the community. But of course, sometimes it so happens that those people are not there of quality who belong to the community. So these are very, very complex issues. And when you deal with 220 million children, it's not easy. It's easy to blame. And of course, you are the people, you are the republic, not us. I concede that. But remember, you sit on my chair and take those decisions, and you realize how difficult it is, right? And how easy it is to blame the person who is sitting on the chair. So while we accept everything that you say, while we agree that much needs to be done, the fact is much needs to be done at all levels. At our level, by providing a policy framework, which we have done under the RTE. At our level, by providing the money. I mean, which government in the past has given 2,31,000 crores, allocated 2,31,000 crores in a 5-year term for elementary education? No government in the history of this country has done that. We've given, now it made this into a constitutional obligation and a right. We are trying to change the processes of examination. We are trying to change the processes of learning. We have launched the Akash only for this reason, because we know that it's impossible, to get teachers in every school of, inadequate numbers and of some quality. At least through the Akash, we'll be able to, send material to children, starting from the university level and going down to the school level. We're trying to connect every Gram Panchayat with fiber optics in the next 2.5 years, so that syllabi can flow to the student community in the institution in which they are sitting and learning. And maybe some of the gaps can be fulfilled through the flow of data and the flow of information. All this we are doing in parallel and simultaneously, and at the same time urging state boards to come on board, to agree with us and to talk, and you look at skills like communication skills. At the heart of, what's the point of somebody doing rote learning if he is not able to express himself or herself? But this is the part of the new program of the Government of India. Communication skills, ability to understand and relate to the subject matter that the child is trying to absorb, the ability to deal with other children in the classroom, to have a system of collaborative learning, and that the textbook is not an end in itself, it's the beginning of the learning process. These are things that we've talked about in the last 2.5, 3 years, which have never been talked about in the last 60 years. But you can't hope to get those results in 2.5 years. This is going to happen 5, 7, 10 years down the road. And Madhav, I have to share with you that I am an optimist by nature. And I know that we will rise to that occasion, because if institutions like yours, ASER, and others, with young people that I am seeing in the hall, with the levels of commitment that they have, I see no reason, I see absolutely no reason why we can translate that into real outcomes and make sure that our children reach the levels of expectation that we have for them for their own future. Thank you very much.